What is going on? Charles Botensten here, Botensten Properties International. I don't know why I just said my company. Here's all over the place. All right, so we are obviously streaming every single day, and I think one of the most asked questions is, how do you start talking and just keep talking and not stop talking? That's kind of easy when you stream yourself every single day, every single morning, roughly around the same time. I am starting a little bit late today. However, it's one of the biggest topics that needs to be covered if you're going to manage not only yourself, but you're going to have to manage other people. You're going to have to manage relationships with other people. That could be a spouse, that could be kids, that could be family members, that could be doctors, lawyers, attorneys, the list goes on and on and on and on. Doesn't matter who you're going to manage, but at one time, managing people, this is the problem that I see. A lot of people, they are top of the morning. How you doing? By the way, I'm assuming you're from Ireland. You wouldn't say top of the morning. My grandparents are from Roscommon, middle of nowhere. Thank God they came over in the early part of this century because it was shit in Ireland at that time. And it's not like that part has improved a lot anyway. But you're from Cleveland, top of the morning, Cleveland. All right, go back and watch The Men Who Built America. That's an amazing documentary. Cleveland was a incredible place. From Pakistan, what time is it in Pakistan? That's crazy. That's unbelievable. That's what, you're ahead of us. It's probably the afternoon. Love that series. I've seen that series probably 20 or 30 times. No joke. Maybe even more. It's just the music, the men, it's just like, that's how it is. 6 p.m. That's perfect. So it's the end of your day on a Friday. So this is the weekend. So this is the thing. There's a book out there, the father of management, if you want to call it, London for the Win. It is, yeah. London's 5 hours or 6 hours ahead. I would say I would live in London. I don't know about the girls, though. I don't know if I can deal with the girls. I think New York is as hard as I can get. In other words, like the girls are, they're a little too masculine, but not too masculine. So, all right, moving on. So there's a book out there, Peter Drucker talks about it, called Managing Oneself. He's obviously the father, the grandfather, whatever you want to call it, of managing. There's schools and books and everything else out there named after him. And he pretty much, if you want to talk about Collins, who wrote an incredible book, Good to Great. He also wrote another book about productivity. Highly recommend both of those. However, first you have to manage yourself. This is one of the biggest problems I did when I started my business. There is a book inside of me. I've already talked about it before, and then I brought it up today because there's something in management, and I'll bring up the biggest mistake in a second that I did. And there's a lot when you start a business. Number one is you overhire, you overspend, you focus on marketing instead of sales. And that's really why businesses go out of business. It's really not rocket science. There's just not enough money coming in, and there's too much leaving the business. It's just as simple as that. It's just X's and O's. But when you're managing people, you have to get them on board. Why is there a big culture, say at Apple or at GoPro or Facebook? Because it starts at the top. And if it starts at the top, like Elon Musk, the guy is pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, so that makes other people feel that they need to push as well. So a company that's really going out of business, number one is they're not innovating at all, okay? But the problem is that I had when I first started is that I brought people on too quick, which is number one. I'm going on 5 years. That's awesome. 8 employees. Gift cards for all the people. Yeah, that's a start. There's clever ways to actually reward people outside of gift cards and money, but gift cards and money are really good. High praise, awards, bulletin boards, putting them up as number one, number two, whatever. But I thought that when I bring people on that they're just going to crush it. I'm in real estate, it's sales, it's New York City, it's very competitive, it's very cutthroat. I think the turnover rate is 70% in the first 2 years or the first year. It's something insane. There's already 33,000 agents. Pretty much anyone in New York City knows a real estate agent. So this is what I thought, is that I brought on 3 people immediately. I filled up all the desks and I was like, okay, let's dominate. But the problem is that I wasn't dominating. I wasn't making the calls. I wasn't emailing. I wasn't closing business. I wasn't doing what I expected them to do. It's kind of the guy that operates a business or operates a restaurant, but he's not willing to be a maitre d' in case the maitre d' calls out. He's not out on the floor shaking hands and kissing babies and saying, "How's your experience?" But he expects the waiters to do it. You know, he's the guy that a machine breaks down at the manufacturing plant, and he's in the office high above everyone else, and he goes, "Someone else fix it." You know, number one, you don't gain respect. Number two is that you're not going to have the hard-charging employees that you expect, that you want. And then you start blaming the employees, and that's what I did. I started blaming my agents, and I was like, why aren't they bringing in business? Why aren't they doing business? Because, Charles, you're not doing business because they don't see you closing deals, okay? That's the number one thing is it really boils down to this sentence. Don't ask someone else to do something you're not willing to do. Okay, you have to get in the kitchen. You have to be the maitre d'. You have to be the waiter. You have to be the person that seats them, the coat check. You know, for me in real estate is you have to be the one emailing, calling, going on appointments, doing open houses. You expected everyone else to do it. You know, I'm really just talking to my younger self. Is that you have to do what you want other people to do and or have already done it. That's where the respect comes from. And this is the problem that you're seeing from a lot of people. I have friends now that they're taking over their dad's business. Okay, I put it in quotes because the father actually took it over from the grandfather who dominated, you know, in the 30s and the 40s, and then gave it to the father in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and then took it, you know, to the roof. And now the kid's going to take it over now, but the kid is a pansy. You know, he hasn't made a sales call in his life. He doesn't know how to negotiate. He doesn't know anything about contracts. He doesn't know anything about managing. And all he does is just sit behind the desk and says, handle it. You do it. Okay? Motivation and the willingness for people to see your vision is only when you're face to face. It's not through an email. It's not through a video. It's not through a text or for even a phone call. You walk up and you say, listen, I've seen that something has slipped, sales, you know, performance, whatever, you know, talk to me. Okay. It's not reprimanding. It's saying, how do we give you something that you like? Okay. Managing oneself. In the book, they talk about go to your strengths and minimize your weaknesses. It's not balancing them out so you have your strengths and your weaknesses exactly the same. It's if you're good at selling or you're good with people, you fucking do that. If you're good coding or website or marketing or design, you do that. If you're good in HR because you know how to talk to people and handle situations and problems that arise, then you do that. That's your strength. And that's what Peter Drucker was talking about. But in general, you can't, within that department, you can't ask anyone to code a website or stay for the afternoons or stay over the weekends if you're not willing to do it, okay? The book that I'm reading right now, great book, it's called The Great Game of Business. The Great Game of Business. And I can tell you one thing, I think Tony Robbins actually took the title for Money, Master the Game, okay? Life is a game, all right? There's an amazing YouTube video out there, and they actually pretty much document everything as the game. Everything is the game. Everything is the game. And essentially, we're players within the game. Some people get money, some people lose money, some people get married and then they level up. Some people actually get a nicer car and then they level up. It's like Sims, okay? But it's also in business. So within there, they actually say that the great game of business is that they were working longer. They got there before the office opened, left after the office. So if you guys found this helpful, hopefully, awesome. I see the decreased amount of people leaving, which is very nice. I love seeing that, as in, Charles, great content, but I got to go for the weekend. We're going to hop over to Facebook Live, facebook.com/Botensten. I will see you guys there. I got to make my sales calls. It's going to be a lot of follow-up today. Talk to you guys soon. Thank you for everyone that tuned in, and enjoy your weekend.